Morning. In this one we're going to have a go at the berry bush border because it's nice weather and you're supposed to get these things planted sometime in autumn, I think. We've got raspberries, we've got blueberries, and I'm going to transplant some blackberries as well. But I'll show you my plan because I'm trying to kill, like I usually do, two birds with one stone, and there's a bit of a water problem here. So that's our border, that's where we're going to be planting these bushes. You see the sheep just there, and the water just seems to be running straight down here. It does join up with this here, sort of, but not very well. And it also runs along there, and it's making this bit really sort of boggy, quite difficult to walk across. This whole area here is all very wet, and I think the way it was, you see it, let me get over to the gate because you can sort of see it's just running through the middle. I think it's because that was where the quad bike track used to be when this was all part of the same piece of land. It's just pooling and running through here. I think what it's supposed to do is run through this bit here, because there's a road, see a van coming past here, and there's supposed to be a drainage channel that runs along there. But let's go and have a look down at the river because I've got a plan, and I'm hoping it's going to make this quite a nice little bit. So we'll go and have a look at that, and I'll explain my thinking. What am I going to do? Am I going to go down there? I'm going to get Strimmer first. You know what? Let's get the Strimmer out because I'm going to be wrestling with all this grass because that's right up to my hip. So I'll get the Strimmer out. We'll change the head over. We'll get this bit trimmed out, and then I can show you the plan a bit easier. I do have a flail mower, as you've seen in some of the other videos, but I can't get it past the bridge of death, which is why we're using the Strimmer instead of that. Just hope it doesn't set on fire like the chainsaw did in our last video, as it's the same brand, but I reckon that was just a dodgy chainsaw. Okay, let's go and have a look down here. It's a new blade, got it caught on a few rocks under there, which is annoying, but it's still cut fine. Right, so you've seen the stream, all the water up there, and the reason I've chosen this location is because although it doesn't have much sun right now in this moment, can you see the sun? It's coming down up there, so we've seen some blackberry bushes around on the site and they don't seem to be growing very well. I've heard two things. One, they need to be they need enough sun and they need to be trimmed back every year. So the trimming we can do, but I'm hoping this location just here is going to have most of the sun, because it's clear all this side. We've got some small trees here, but you see the sun's only just coming over the hill anyway, so this seems to be getting the sun as soon as it's coming above the hill. This whole section here as well, we're planning for what do you call it, like livestock, not quite farming, but I want some chickens, want some bees, might put a few greenhouses in this section. So it is my intention to blitz the whole thing with the mower. I'm trying to keep everything else wild, but this specific section I think is quite a good place to work towards having a gardening space. So that's why I'm not too worried about just strimming everything on the edge right now. So the water's over there, and I'll show you this bit down in the river, because to me it looks like this was the original joining point of that stream before the road was put in. You can kind of see it from here. There's this, no you can't, can you? I'll climb a bit further down. Right, so there's a pool there, and then there's this like stagnant pool here that I've spotted, which I mean it looks to me like water used to join in here. So there to up there is where I was standing before with the strimmer. So what I'm going to try and do is reconnect this section here with the water that's running off up there. Oh god, this whole section here is really boggy. I'm sinking right now into the water, so I suspect this used to be where it would connect, and there's the erosion here. So I'm gonna dig that drainage channel, and then God, if I can ever get out of this mud. Oh my god. Man, that's ruining my... Alright, no self, don't come back here. I just sank like actually up to my knee. And that's horrible. No, it doesn't smell, but oh man, it's all like, okay, I'm gonna have to go change. But you know what, it might just be better if I just jump in the river, because otherwise this is just gonna get worse. Oh, that is, I can feel it's not just water, it's all squishy. So like a really thick mud. Lucky we've got the stream here to clean off. Now I'm just wet instead of wet and sludgy. I think we can agree that bit wants to be a river, doesn't it? So try not to walk back over here and get sink with the other leg. Okay, so we're going to connect that. I'm not going to dig that. That was never the plan. I'm just going to dig up the top there. I'm just going to sort of allow the water to start trickling down, and then I hope it finds its own way. Hope it finds its own way down here. Right, so there is the edge of the bog, and it sort of looks like it drips off. Here's where we're going to dig the trench to, somewhere here. I'm going to start here, and I'm going to dig up, because if I start up and dig down, I'm going to have the water running straight after me, aren't I? And I don't know if I mentioned this, the secondary reason for digging this is because as the stream runs down here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig a very small trench out of here. I'm going to pile the mud up here, and I'm going to plant the berry bushes down here like that. But this stream, I'm hoping, will sort of keep it nice and watered. The blackberry bushes around here are surviving. Like I said, they're not doing very well with the fruit, but they are surviving. And it's quite waterlogged around here, which means that they're okay. I mean, I'm no gardener, I'm just guessing this as I go along. But I'm hoping that will water them. The mound I'm going to pile up on the other side is where I'm going to be planting them. So they are going to be raised up a little bit. Right, so we've got the boots on the dryer, my gloves. So I might be able to wear those wellies again, at least within the next day, instead of waiting for weeks for it to dry like the last pair did. When I'm digging, because I did a lot of this at the previous project that we were at, and I almost always choose to do it by hand when I should really be getting a digger. But sometimes I like hard work. Cost of getting a digger, save a bit of money, get a bit of a workout. Kind of feels like a fair, well, not even fair trade. It feels like I'm gaining a little bit in some ways. But I like digging with the pickaxe. You can, the way I found it is if you're trying to make digging a bit easier, you put the fork in, loosen the soil. Like when I was a kid, you just attack it with a spade, wouldn't you? And you'd be like, what? But you're always jarring the spade. It doesn't work very well. So I found that you use the fork and then you loosen up the soil and then dig it much easier. But that tends to be fine if you're digging deep. Like you loosen up a bit, dig it out, loosen up a bit, dig it out. That's how I find works quite well if you're doing that. But if you're digging a trench, not a deep trench, I quite like working with pickaxes because I can stand and I can sort of bend and I can chop and pull, sort of like dig the pickaxe in, pull, and as I pull it kind of scoops out some mud and I can kind of walk my way backwards digging like that. But the problem with the pickaxe is you've got a really narrow top, so you really don't, if anything, you kind of, the stuff that you're putting out of the ground is pulled out as a byproduct, whereas what you're doing is stabbing it in. And then it's too narrow to get a spade in there, so you end up having to pickaxe across as well as in the direction you want to go. So I've got an idea. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I've got two of these. So I'm going to cut that side off. I'm going to cut that side off. I'm going to get a hot blowtorch on the connector here. Well, the join, the bend, and I'm going to bend the whole of this that way to try and make a sort of pickaxe with a wider neck. I don't know if I can be bothered to chop the handle off or I'll just leave the handle on there, but I want to say it's a hoe, but I feel like they're not quite for digging this way. But anyway, I'm going to chop that off, and I'm going to see if that can't make it a little bit quicker. Just to dig the trench. Like I said, I'm only going to go a little bit because the water it'll cut its own way through afterwards. I just need enough to direct it and to mound up a little bit of soil to plant the bushes in. So I'm going to get my tool made up and then, yeah, maybe it works. Maybe we revert back to all the other bits we've got to dig with. Had all my Travis Perkins materials delivered for the next bundle of stuff that we're doing. We had a little bit of rain yesterday. You see, it's like a big bubble of water in there. Luckily it's not, these are door frames. Luckily it's not actually on any timber, it's just, it's really funny. Right, well I hope that would work. It didn't. I suspect it's, I mean, it's tool steel, I think. So took ages to cut the grinder, and now heating it up with that, it's really springy steel. So yeah, I can't bend it. Maybe it'll come in useful. I mean, it's a different shape spade. I haven't got a spade that shape at the moment, so that's as long as I'm going to spend on that. I don't want to spend all day trying to reforge. If I had a hotter flame maybe, or if I tried really hard to bend it, or what I could do is cut it, or like score it, bend it, and then re-weld it, but I can't be bothered to get the welder out. I've only got a TIG welder here. So I'm just gonna get on with digging, otherwise it's gonna be the whole day just preparing for it, and I'll never actually start the job. So I think we'll just go down with what we've got, and we'll start rerouting that stream. Well, that was a bit more digging than I expected, but I had to sort of put a few slaps of soil there to try and funnel it over this way. Stopped going there, got a nice stream coming here. I'm hoping it's going to cut itself down a bit in places because it's not perfect, but it flows down here. I think this bit needs to be, I need to go over it with the pickaxe again just to pull things out, because it seems to be running over the surface a bit here. And then I found it was just easier to like dive down and just get my hands in there and just kind of, you know, pat it out. It's good though, because for the house, I was worrying whether this mud would be like, you know, the right kind of mud, but you see here I can kind of shape it pretty nicely. There's better tests to see the clay content, but I was able to kind of mound a lot of this into banks, which means that I think this will be good. This will be good for the earth and render on the house, so that's great, because I was worried that we'd have to source the soil from elsewhere, and that'd be really difficult. It flows down here, joined it around the corner. It seems to be kind of pooling down there a bit. I was hoping it would fly straight through there, but it's Well, I suppose that's sort of where it's supposed to go, isn't it? It's not going any further that way. Might have to come down here and just dig a hole, make sure it can go down there a bit smoother. But yeah, that worked out all right. Didn't quite achieve my vision of digging it out from that side and mounding it up to bury the bushes in, because this was a lot of roots in it, and I thought it'd be a bit easier to get, you know, lots of soil out, but actually that was quite difficult. So now we've done this, there's a really big blackberry bush in our land just over that way. So I want to relocate that, and I might find a few more blackberry bushes to relocate. But we've got all the raspberry bushes and the blueberry bushes that we've purchased, because we don't have any raspberry or blueberry bushes around here. And apparently blueberry bushes are quite difficult to grow, but we've got really acidic soil here because it's peat. So for us, they should do really well. Don't know whether this is the best location for them, but this is where they're going for now. Yeah, it's my first water course redirected. I've got so many more to do though. Looking around the plot, there's so much more of this that needs to be done. So make sure I eat my Weetabix in the morning. Right, so I don't know what I'm doing. Got some berry bushes. These are Cascade Delight, and these are Autumn Bliss. These are blueberries. I think these all, oh no, they say blue crop. That one doesn't. That one doesn't. That one doesn't. So don't know what that is. I like the taste of berries, so we're going to put some in the ground. I thought you just had raspberries, blackberries, and blueberries. I didn't realise there were so many varieties. So we got both at the shop just because, I don't know, in case one doesn't work. I suppose the other one does. We're going to go and hunt down this blackberry bush then. It's over there somewhere. I'm going to chop it back a bit because it's quite a big one, but it's right in the undergrowth over there, so it's not the best place for it to grow with sunlight anyway. So we'll grab that one. I'm going to put him right at the top, I think, because it's a big one. There's a nice big bit of ground there, and there's a lot more sunlight at that end, so I'm focusing up there, whereas down this end, I suppose if they work and the bottom ones work too, then maybe we'll add a few more later. I'm keeping, 3-4 in reserve, because if all of these don't work, I'm going to plant a few in our garden, because like we placed the solar panels there because there's loads of sun, but I didn't want to, I want this place to be the vegetable animal kind of pen place, so I wanted to focus it over here, but I'm going to put a couple in the garden, I think, because it would be nice to have a couple there. We're just focusing the attention here, I think. I'm not sure if I remember this right, but I don't think there was running water just there before, so let's be careful where I go this time, because I sank last, didn't I? It's coming in up there, and it looks like, yeah, that's definitely flowing, and I don't think it was earlier. So now this seems to be receiving fresh water, so I think that's mission accomplished. Well, it's pretty over there, doesn't it? find my way through here. When I came down here last, I could have sworn this was huge, so I brought the spade and everything down, but looking at it now, it's tiny. So this must have been it, unless I've found the wrong one. There's a second one here which is good. Can't see anymore. I'm reading this book at the minute, recommended to me by a friend, called Feral, and you see a lot of rhododendrons around in Scotland. Sometimes you don't pause to think about them, but they're invasive species. There's a big one there. Luckily there's only really one or two on our plot. There's not very many. But when you think about invasive species, sometimes I'm like, well, I mean, what species is really native? There was a period where there were elephants here, hippos, and they excavated Nelson's Tower in Nelson's Column in Trafalgar Square. They found hippopotamus bones underneath the foundation, well, before they put the foundations in. So we had hippos and elephants here. So you would say they're not native now, but they were. So, you know, my opinion on native species or not is mixed. But what I've learned about rhododendrons that I don't like, and why I'm going to cut that one out, is that because they're fairly fresh here, they don't support any species. So ash trees and oak support, I think it's about 150 species of bugs and moss and all kinds of other species of creature. I don't know if plants are creatures, but anyway, they support a lot of other life forms, whereas rhododendrons support zero. And they crowd out the light and nutrients for other plants. So because they stop other plants growing, and you might think that's competition, but because they don't support any further species, I don't really want them around, because that's stopping development. I mean, in 1,000 years there would be bugs that developed. I don't know, I'm guessing in 1,000 years there will be animals that will evolve to live off of them, and I think they're here to stay because they love the acidic soil. But right now they are the only species in its area that you know is only rhododendron. It's quite selfish, isn't it? So I'm going to take it out. That's okay. Don't know about you, but I'm dying to pop that. And under here is all the sheets of OSB that I don't really want to get soaked when this does pop. So I think I'm going to attempt a controlled explosion rather than just watching it get wrecked. Oh, well, that was... Couldn't help but feel I was forgetting something, and then thought about it, and I'm pretty sure when I've seen other people do it, they put some kind of fertilizer on it. And then I remembered I've got all these bags of sheep poo that I bagged up sort of just for this purpose, but I wasn't really sure when that might occur. So I reckon we'll just grab one of these, quite heavier than it looked, and we'll take it over and just put a spoon of that on top of each one. Don't know, maybe. Doesn't look very tasty to me. All right, I'm calling that job jobbed. I just went round and picked these out and numbered each one, like in the corners, from the top. Although when I come back to it, maybe I should put one top, because whenever I number these, I'm like, well, was it left from left, or right from right, or left from the road, or right from the... So I've put 1 through 5. I think I'll put one top so I know which way to count from, just in case I need to refer to the instructions. Don't know. Be nice if these work, because actually it felt like a bit of a forgotten end of the plot when I was planning it, but now that I'm here, it's quite a nice place. Like, that way you can see a lot more of the hill, because this is the farmer's bit of land, like sheep are here, so it's all, there's no trees, you can see all the way down there. Got the sound of the river. Now we've got the sound of our trickling stream. So yeah, be nice if they work. Don't know if they will. There we go. For the rest of the week, today's supposed to be nice weather, so that's why we've got on with this. Not supposed to be nice for the rest of the week, so I'm going to be working on the utility room. I think we've got to pour some concrete down there to move the washing machine and the fridge across, make my office where that is at the moment. What else are we going to do? The thing we've been talking about for ages, the coats. Probably going to be getting to that this week. So it's probably going to be a year before we know if these are any good, won't we? Because it's autumn now, and I've heard that it's a good time to plant it, because it said on the internet thing that there's warmth in the soil. I'm sure there's more reasons than that, but all the leaves should fall off now, shouldn't they? So we won't really know if they've done very well until next year, but it'd be nice if they do. Is this the kind of content you like? Come see us in the next one. Range of things, don't we? Do a lot of different things. Nice to see you there. We'll see you then. It's amazing, it's only been flowing for half a day, but it's already got stone bottom. Even though what I dug, you know, it was all, you can see the quantity of mud in it. But as you go further down, where is it? You can see these sort of collections of sediment down in the, that's really fine. Can you see that? Thought that'd take ages to settle in, but it seems to be all right now. Really looking forward to getting some dry some dry socks on.